I know Amy did.
We are going live on YouTube. FYI. But this new thing is pretty cool. You can record. Get you all on camera, I'll adjust it, zoom it in on
Boy.
Kathy.
And are we're no longer allowed to use Zoom, right? As
Amy did.
You're going live on YouTube.
Is that me?
No, it's the YouTube feedback, I'm just muting them, but yeah, we can no longer participate at Zoom as chairs.
free.
Chairs. It's not-
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is morning, isn't it?
You guys think it was just two of you this morning?
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking, I hope everyone caught the 7:30.
I did.
Thank you.
Should Mr. Knapp sit next to you?
Now he can sit wherever he wants. We only need two.
Morning.
This meeting is being recorded.
How's Margot this morning?
Great.
Okay.
Right nearly.
One more, we got one.
Nice. Yeah.
Morning.
Haven't talked to you in ages.
I know.
I get caught up with her at the pool.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, these are working out.
Is it Birchwood? Is that where you go?
Yeah.
You're probably gonna get a call from Karen Bachram,
Why?
trying to put together a
Right.
memorial for Bob.
Okay.
Let's list of people. I don't know, it's a Kiwanis Club.
Everybody, you're right.
This is, you could try Michael Johnson. Is he the best one in
Good
the
point.
city? I was like, I don't know, Victor probably doesn't know. And I said, or call Fred Gooder. You know.
Yeah, you would.
Every time I go back, people are playing cornhole.
Chess or something, yeah, people really like it. It's happening, like.
It is so busy, so busy. There's stuff to do there now.
You guys don't have to tell me that.
I know.
It's a beautiful thing.
That was a
Beautiful
I
thing.
know I got turned away from the here the other night.
I know, I heard. I can't believe, did you turn away Margot? Don't you know she's on our VIP list?
Oh, yeah,
Really try not to bother the restaurants in the summer. Soon, I miss it all. Morning. Need one more.
Tim said he'll be here.
Oh, I got 2 minutes left.
Oh,
One more for quorum.
yeah, that's not, you know, the
Amy
one.
will be
Thursday-
There we go, we got
Oh, yes,
Nikki, good, we're doing it.
Making sure.
No,
I
it
remember
was,
to
it
send it.
was, my friend.
Oh, yeah, I replied really late back to your email last night.
Hi, Miss Nikki.
Hi, love, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm ready today.
How was your little vacay?
It was not long enough. It was great though. It was so nice to see my family. A lot of them haven't seen them in a couple of years. It was
And
good.
then you've got that, like, farm in town.
You know, isn't that weird?
We camped here. Yeah.
Not seen
Wilderness
for like
Lake Park.
2 years.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah, good weird.
We did. The weather was nice. Yeah, it was not bad.
I know Amy said she would be here. She said she has to leave by 8.
We'll spend one night.
Well, Tim should be here.
And he said he would be here.
They
I
live
as long as
like,
he has the time.
He'll come flying in.
it's like,
It's got a
I
minute.
like Morona, I love my grandkids, but it's like to be 3 minutes in a row, it's highest down.
Jody's loaded up. She's got her breakfast.
Atkins, protein shakes.
He's like, it's a perfect time, so we've had both last.
I've lost 12 pounds, so I'm taking 9 months.
And that was taken around.
So-
For you.
But some people are saying that
They
it'll be really good.
It's so cool, 'cause they just-
Take your grandchild
I
to
just
work.
did it slow.
Yeah.
Their dad can take them for like, he's more fun, because he's.
I was stuck for a while at like
Yeah,
8.
they-
and then- Yep,
Yeah, we had fun. We went up
sometimes I
there.
leave the pier and go to the evening today.
That's not, Brian,
I
have you
know.
come over here yet?
Mexican place way up
In the
by
store?
W3s.
Oh my goodness. The day that I was in there,
They did.
like Brad and I were talking, all of a sudden, there were like
I've never
onslaught.
in my life gone through this much merchandise in a 6-week period. of time. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, the day I was,
Walk in, it's like,
well, the day I was
I
in,
mean,
like
if
these
so
girls
many
came
people
in
come
and they're
in.
just like,
Just get mad.
These, one of these. You see the number of people in town. And that's supposed to be the story.
Nobody mornings to come up, it's like,
I know.
We've been sending a lot of people that, they're like, that's super cute. And I was like, Ivy. That's super cute, Ivy. Oh, I'll go there after. And walked out. You think there's parking? Nope, walked out.
Every day is a weekend.
It's been fun, for sure.
We are at 7:31 and we do have quorum, while we're missing a couple who alleged to have been in our presence.
Alleged.
We'll see if that happens. I'm married to an attorney, what can I say? All right, we are back at it after a month's, I'm not gonna say vacation because almost all of us were working around that time. So welcome to our August meeting. And first we will start with a roll call
Kathy Breitner,
here.
Matt Bagara, Tim Knapp, Josh Baker,
Here's Amy.
Jody Eubank. Here. Nikki Law,
Here.
Anna Mulder.
Here.
Ryan Bedini,
Here.
Amy Gillard, here. And Keely Knapp, I know she's gonna be coming.
All right. Public comment. No one has a thing to say to us this morning?
Welcome, Rachel, our new Parks Director.
Please welcome. Thanks, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
I started about a month ago,
Good.
so.
And let's move right into our many items this morning to get through. First, beginning with,
I have a pinched nerve, and so my most important position right now is this.
okay.
So I don't necessarily have a question. I just have my hand in the air because it doesn't hurt. So
Okay.
just FYI, I will flag you down if I
Really need
if I
it.
need
What's your other hand?
yeah, yeah, so anyway.
Well, your parade wave will be in good shape.
Yeah.
Oh, you feel better.
Thank you. I do too, because it hurts a
Okay.
lot.
Downtown enhancement is where we're beginning.
Nope, we need to minutes.
Oh, I did. I went right past them, June 2nd. It's been so long, I forgot we had minutes. Okay.
Motion to
We've
approve?
all reviewed them?
Yes,
Yes. May I have a motion to approve?
David just made one. I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Now, downtown enhancement. And the tree gardens.
All right, so.
And here's Tim.
Okay.
Well, that was a good
Tim
meeting.
Knapp is
Thanks,
here.
everybody.
Morning, Tim.
Morning, Tim.
Morning.
All right. On the positive side of the tree gardens, we have received lots of compliments about the flowers in town and everybody really likes them. But on the, we have had a few issues that I think we've noticed, and that is that there are, first, what we knew to be that some of the trees are just too big and the roots are too big. And so we didn't get to plant flowers. Or we planted flowers in them and they're not surviving very well. Obviously, we are having some trampled just from the hordes of people that are here, along with a little bit of the maintenance. But I think that the National Honor Society is doing a pretty good job with the maintenance on that. And then the biggest issue is, as we talked about, is not enough water. That is kind of getting solved today. And that's because Lucas did find a water wagon for us that was up in the DPW from past years of Main Street free watering. So he's made that available to us, and it's now down at the Harbor Master building, and Mike's letting us keep it there for, but we'll have to bring it up and fill it and all of that. So that's where we stand with the project as it is right now.
A couple of weeks ago, I went through and counted where we'd lost a lot of plants since the initial planting at the end of May. And Margot purchased 4 flats, I think, of fill-ins. And
We ended up having to double that.
we did, you're right. And we then had a group that went down, thankfully, a lovely morning after rain, so the soil was nice and moist, and planted. 5 days later, I walked through and noticed that about half of what we had planted were already dead. And then we started investigating the water. I've gone down a couple times with my 3-gallon watering can, which requires 8 refills to do the 2 blocks. And watered just the new plant to try to salvage them because they were the ones that were suffering from the change. And once we started diving into this, realized that the watering system is just a light sprinkle around the tree bases. It is not covering the whole bed. So particularly, and if you look at those beds, it's the rims that are dead. That's because there is no water flowing down to them. Yes, there has been some trampling. I've had the privilege, probably shouldn't say this publicly, but I have watered a few bike seats that were parked on a plant that I was watering. So it happened. It's going to happen. I know a good attorney.
It
but,
just slipped.
I did, it slept if I watered those. So one woman apologized profusely when she realized what I was trying to do. But they've been trampled, and I understand that after the 4th, they were quite bad, and they amazingly recovered from all that trampling. So for the rest of the season, to salvage all the work that's gone into them, we do need to water them. This is not something we had our hands on when we started this project. We did not suggest or ask the kids to do this because we thought they were watered. And upon conversation with the garden club and observation of what's happened, we realized that the watering system there is just not sufficient for that entire space.
I think that, I mean, after talking to Lucas, I mean, we've had a ton of water this year, and he feels that if we did have a normal rain season, half the flowers would be dead.
Yes,
Would be dead
absolutely.
right now. I mean, they wouldn't be looking like they are. So I went around, I did photograph all of the tree bases, kind of their status of how they are surviving, and that was before we added. I'll go back and take more pictures to see how they are now that we've added more flowers, but just to, as our update as to how this project has gone when we go back to council. Honestly, my recommendation is if we want to continue doing this project, whether it's through the National Honor Society or we look at bidding it out, I would make the recommendation that we do the necessary costs to remove the extremely large trees that are taking up space, replace those, put in smaller trees, get quotes to see what the irrigation, to change the irrigation to correct sprinkler system. I mean, we've got water to each one, so that they would get the proper watering throughout the season, and then look at really exactly how many flowers we need. I think we were a little short, in thinking that, but even with all of that, if we're gonna do the project, I think we need to set ourselves up in the future to do it done, so it's done successfully. And,
I would
Yes.
agree with that.
yeah. Amy.
Would it also be important to look at just the cost of what it would cost for someone to water or however many times a week would be necessary?
We
And
could have,
add that into the cost of what we look at for next
yeah,
year?
we could have asked the kids to do that if we didn't know.
No, exactly, completely, exactly. But I mean, that might be more economical than working on a huge irrigation system. If we do have a water truck now.
It holds 15 gallons.
Or a container, it's not a truck, it's
not a truck,
It's
it's
a
a
wagon.
cart, it's a cart, a hand cart.
oh, okay.
With like about a 15-gallon tank, and you walk up and down, and have to be refilled a couple times. Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I think that, that may be the way we want to go. My thought is we already have water there.
Right.
If we're.
Take advantage of it.
Right, but that's gonna cost X plus to do a brand new irrigation system versus a short term. Yes, it's a short term, but that could be important just to know what that cost is. Wasn't Charlevoix's biggest cost always the watering of all their petunias?
Yes,
That-
because they had the labor of the person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that gentleman who did it all the time.
Can we just adjust the time on the water? In my sprinkler system,
It's not about the time, it's about the coverage.
It's just,
but if
they're
you
like
turn
little
on the coverage,
drip
even
hose.
if it's around the ring and you turn it on for 30 minutes rather than 5 minutes, the water's gonna go down the rest of
Makes sense.
That's what I was.
That's what I was-
It
that's what I was
doesn't make
gonna
sense
say,
not
and
to
then-
use what we have.
Yeah.
And if there's a ring, if there is water to those trees, if you leave it on longer, it'll soak into the rest of the box.
I talked to Ben about that. There's something we have to be careful about is that sometimes trees require different water than flowers. It needs to be, I think for each species of tree and each bed, you have to be careful how much water each tree is
I
getting.
do have a question with this though. I mean, this was done for years before the boxes were taken away. Because I came in to this right when the boxes were there for a year and then they were gone and then this whole thing started. How was this managed when the boxes were there? I mean, who did the watering? Because downtown
That's why
looked,
they have the cart.
downtown looked beautiful before we took the boxes
Yes.
away. And we had the boxes, they disintegrated, Gal went out of business, and then all this has been going on since then. So it was done for years successfully before we kept trying to fix this. So how was it done?
They had a
People,
huge, not a huge, but they had a much larger group of the
Yes,
garden club.
and they are now down to half the, I guess, working members of the garden club.
And the cart is what they
Yes,
used. If
they
you
use
remember,
the
they
cart.
walked around with that. And so they did the water.
yeah, no, I didn't remember because I had gotten in here the year before the boxes were taken away.
Yeah, they did water, and I've watered twice with a 3 gallon, so I've done 24 gallons to just on the new plants. So that 15 gallons going to have to be filled probably 6 times to cover every bed completely, at least once a week. And we didn't realize that, we thought when we started this that the watering system was sufficient. I guess the question was going to be then, could we at least see have you already asked Ben about this?
If you take away the argument that if you put too much water on it, you can kill the tree, because then you're gonna have all of us putting too much water.
No, but see, the difference is with the way the irrigation is set up for the base of the tree. So it's gonna be, the water's gonna be going at the base of the tree and then trickling down to the flowers. When you guys water them, you're watering the flowers individually, you're not watering the base of the tree. So the way the irrigation system is set up is the majority of the water is still gonna go to the tree. So it might be fine for some trees. We gotta look at that too. We gotta look at which species of tree is gonna, and we can maybe adjust the irrigation. I don't know that. We have to look at the irrigation system we have there and how long it's been running for. I don't know, Margot, you know how long they run for.
I don't know, my fear is that we've had so much rain that I don't think the sprinklers, whatever we have, if you eliminated the natural rain, I just don't think it's getting, no matter
I
how much we.
don't think it's sufficient for the trees. The trees look horrible too.
Some of the beds that I've been working in are
They're
covered in
bald.
dead leaves from the
Yeah.
tree that were sitting next to.
I think we should at least
Am I
try and turn
wrong
it up,
in thinking those trees
just
need
as
to be
true that we
replaced
can't put
10
enough
years or
water
so?
for the flowers
Yeah,
and
it
you
should.
can't hurt the trees.
Grow something
And maybe
under
we get down
concrete.
to, these are mutually exclusive things in the same bed.
I would just suggest, Margot, we talked to Luke and Ben.
Yeah, can we-
Yeah, we can't figure out here.
And then once you get an answer to that, let's look at weather schedules every week and then see if someone's got a day to walk through. I have personal knowledge of where all the spigots are because I've used them a few times. Necessarily, there's 2 hoses that we particularly need. And interesting, the best looking beds are in the beds where we told the businesses there was no water. They have taken care of them. So we also, had we known this, could have asked the businesses to step up because they're watering their beds already.
And
I was
then,
gonna suggest that because Phil and I had to throw some water on.
I know.
The one out in front of ours.
And there's no water there.
Well, I have a spigot, but I don't keep the handle on it, so Joan.
I
will use
noticed.
my water.
I
But I always have the handle inside that I'm willing to let anybody use
Yeah.
but him, so.
had to use.
and then before the boxes were gone, how many years before that happened was that done throughout downtown? That we had the boxes out with the plantings and everything else? Because
10 or 15.
we keep going back to part of the issue too is the trampling. And I get that. People letting their dogs pee on it and everything else. And we keep going back to that. We can't have any kind of boxes because of either the plants or there's a tripping hazard, but if we've had them for 15 years before that, there was never an issue before.
I think
I
there was
guess-
an issue. I think that's part of why they went.
Well, when I was dealing with Tom, when I was trying to figure out, because Justin was gonna rebuild all of the boxes that were, because part of the issue before was we were told that they were disintegrating. And Justin said, well, I'll take a winter and I'll rebuild them all. And then they were like, well, we don't have a place to store them. And we were like, well, we'll store them all in our garage if we can do this and make it look better. And then it became a tripping hazard. So I was just wondering if it was where, because it just doesn't seem like if they're being trampled and dogs are peeing on them, that issue is gonna necessarily be resolved.
You know, I think if I had to choose between the safety and the tripping and the trampling, I'll take the trampling. There's, not all of them have been badly trampled. A couple of spots where there's high traffic are worse than others.
Was it a tripping hazard?
Well, that's what I'm asking. We had it for 15 years and was there
I
ever a big
never
issue
remember
brought
hearing-
to the city where it was a tripping hazard? Is there a way to see that?
Do we have any reports?
No?
Not to my
So
knowledge.
then, and the trees didn't die because we had the raised boxes and Gow did a great job taking care of them. It just seems that if we're not gonna get the tree grates, the trees aren't gonna be replaced. We can't have the irrigation because it costs too much. I mean, it seems like this would be a little bit better of a,
So let's keep in mind that this is a council project that they asked us to do for them when they didn't proceed with the tree rates. Let's go back in front of them maybe in October.
Yeah.
With where we've been this summer, what we've learned, and give them some suggestions for direction.
it just seems
For
like
next
we
year.
are putting so much time and there's so much money now going into replacing flowers and time and volunteers to water that we do need to find some kind of permanent solution or just to stop putting any time into this at all
I
and let the
agree.
city deal with it
Put
because,
wood chips down and call it a day.
yeah, because
We
the,
might have talked about that.
I agree.
the easiest way to do it, you know, seems like what we had for 15 years and it looked beautiful. I mean, downtown looked
At
gorgeous.
this point, though, all the trees have their soil level established, you know, at sidewalk level. So to raise those up and add 3 inches of soil, you can expand, but that's just not something you want to do. It suffocates the tree.
Well, the trees do need to be replaced. I mean,
The trees are
Benjamin
getting
said that.
Yes.
The trees are too big. I mean, and that's not a DDA decision. That's a council decision, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I
If they
agree.
want to take care of the downtown, they should have some type of plan in the master plan to replace the trees.
I agree.
So let's put all this on our list. We'll work together. Marg and I work on a presentation for council. We're going to show them some photos and just what we've learned and let them direct for next year. And in the meantime, we need to just salvage what we've got. So I'm in charge of watering tomorrow and it's going to rain all day. So.
Thank you for what you've done. I mean, it really, it's,
Yes, it looks
those
amazing.
of you that have been involved with it and have taken it seriously. So
And
thank you.
and every time I walk around with that watering can, I've at least 30 or 40 people stop and say thank you. Open the car doors to say thank you.
Yeah.
It's just amazing that people have,
People really
So
enjoy the
appreciated them.
flowers and they really enjoy them this year.
I'd also like to suggest, you know, and maybe this is something we could talk about at the Downtown Enhancement Committee, but what else can we do to try and get money for the tree break project? You know, we do part, council does part, like I came up with 3 or 4 grants that's beyond the TAP grant that seems like it could be possible. Like maybe we should look into all of that exhaustively before we go to council.
well, we at least need to report back to them what happened this year because it was their project and their funding.
But I think it would be good if we had a plan going forward. This is our first choice, what we want to do, which hopefully would still be the tree grades. And here's what we've done to try and get some money for it. Did that end up in the capital improvement plan for next year?
We haven't done that the capital improvement plan is done at the same time as the old one was scheduled for this year, tree grades, right, in the council. But for next year, we prepare that capital improvements plan at the same time around budget time, and we're not gonna really prepare that until we know how voters choose on the headline, so
Yeah.
that's.
That's why I think even if we go back to council with recommendation to remove trees and get a successful project that's going to be possibly a fraction of what anything like the tree grades.
I
would
still
cost.
believe that's throwing good money after bad, though, that we putting trees back in spots that aren't gonna be long-term if we get tree grates, you know, a year or two from now.
Well, it could be, I mean, trees, city trees are what, 8-year life and 10-year life. And, you know, at this point with Headley, that could be where we're at. And we need it to look good as we're now.
Well, let's proceed with this. I mean, downtown enhancement, we'll tackle back into it also. Okay,
Okay,
next on promotions.
motions. Okay, so 2021 summer events, I think we all know they have been extremely successful. And with just mobs of people here. So we had really successful 4th of July, street music, art in the park, blessing of the fleet, even Shea Days, everything that I've seen has been well attended. And so we have a few more things coming up. We have a lot more concerts. We have a car show coming up. I reached out to Bonnie. She couldn't be here today and she didn't have any more things to add that were on the agenda of the events, but still more to come in August. And we have this big, book festival coming in September. It's coming. If there's anything we can do.
Register if you haven't registered. That's our biggest push is we're requiring people to register this year. So, and because we haven't had a system in which to collect people's information, we've relied on them either subscribing to our newsletter and or when they purchase tickets, we collect their information. But I just sent out an email yesterday. I had a woman come into the office who is always invited by someone else. And so she had no idea there was a registration process. She had always gotten any ticket she'd ever gotten, someone had given to her as a gift. And so she's like, what do you mean I have to register? So we're requiring registration. The other thing that we're doing that is going to be different is we got permission to put tents up and we're looking at that, but we're not looking at a traditional tent. I've found this company out of Traverse City that does a tent that basically looks like a big Pringle of different shapes. And so we're in the process right now of laying all that. So I'm gonna have to talk to
Okay.
Rachel, to just to say, this is the different look than a traditional normal tent. So hopefully we can use it. So
The tent you go under? If it
yeah,
looks like a big
it'll be a
Pringle?
venue for us. It'll be a venue for us in Zorn Park. So, but we're using we'll use the park, we'll use Holy Childhood, we're using the Lyric Theater, and we're using the Methodist Church. So, and everything is basically gonna be one day. So it's gonna be on Saturday. We're hoping to do 17 events on Saturday, which is we did 30 last year across the 3 days. So, but
Any food events?
not serious. I mean, we're trying to provide a bag lunch for an event that we're
No, I
going to do
mean, like
at
the
noon,
food
but
chef,
we're
food
not
authors.
doing cookbook. We're only focusing on fiction and nonfiction. We've got 20 authors. We are thrilled we have that, considering invitations have only been out for 6 weeks. So cross your fingers that it all goes well and we don't have to wear masks and we can start looking at 2022 to be back at normal. But yeah, it's happening. We have over almost 600 people registered. We're
Wow.
capping it at around 900. So
Great.
they're coming.
Jody, how have things been in the restaurant business this summer?
We are fine. I don't know what's wrong with everybody else, but I mean, the guests need to be jailed. I mean, some of them, they're out of control. They are, I've been reading articles
That one you posted today was good.
from Harrington's. We're staffed. I put back only maybe 8 tables after they said we could be at 100%. And that's because I didn't want to be in any position where I hear some other restaurants are where they just fly willy-nilly and put the servers in 8, 9 table sections and, poor service, can't get the food out of the kitchen. We were up 150,000 for July So that was,
Even fewer tables.
well, a little bit more than what we had last year, but not at maximum. I was only down 40,000 in 2019 in July. And that's on almost, we do 850,000 the month of July. So I'll
A
take
lot
it.
of purge, yeah.
And there's just been a lot of people, I've just listened to people in the farmer's market. Everyone's raving about the restaurant food this year. So maybe they're complaining when they get to you, but when they leave, they seem to be quite happy with what they had, which is great.
It's the weight.
Yeah, it is.
And to me, and I've said this, I would say it again, I firmly believe in food trucks, and I think that if some couple comes into our town and they try to eat at the Bistro or Pearson's or the New York or the Pier or wherever they go, Paper Station, and it's an hour-long wait everywhere they go, if there's
It's an option.
if there's a choice for a food truck
We do have
And-
one coming.
and.
We do.
We do. We have one coming this, starting.
Potentially,
Yeah, right.
food truck, the pop-up. memory.
No,
Oh, the food truck, oh, at Park Park.
Starting Saturday?
Yeah, it's Friday and Saturday, all of August.
And who is it?
He's
Harbor.
Harbor
Lunch
Lights
Grill.
Grill,
Oh.
the Paradise Carp
I've seen
Lake
your truck.
restaurant, yeah. And, so
Good.
he is planning to be here
So where does he have to park?
Ford Park,
Well, the Bay Street,
Or-
yeah, across from.
right across from Ford Park.
Oh, that's a long way.
It is. But for people that are like boating and,
Yeah.
walking down there.
A lot of contractors, construction workers prefer not to be in the downtown when they want to grab a quick bite of food, so they like the food trucks.
Yeah.
That way, but, I mean, there's a reason why it stopped a few years ago, why we haven't had many for a few years, because it is, for the businesses, it's hard, you don't get as many people as you are if you're downtown,
Yes.
so.
Okay, let's move into Brewfest.
Well, I think that's a little bit of malarkey, because, I mean, I'm just, how many people I turn away a night that, and Matt was in our restaurant in the kitchen last night borrowing something, I can't remember what it was. And he said, it's just been crazy, anchovies, I think.
Sometimes
Yeah.
the visitors don't think to walk all the way down Fort Park.
No, they don't.
Right,
Yeah. that's-
so
yeah.
my point is I would rather, we always talk about the great experience, somebody comes to our town, it's great. They visit, they come and they visit again the next year. Maybe they decide they're gonna buy a summer home, then they might decide they're gonna have a business here and, it all starts with the first experience. And if they can't, well, I couldn't even get a bite, I couldn't even get anything to eat. I couldn't get an ice cream cone. I couldn't get, of course, I don't know how many ice cream cones we should be able to.
You can get an
Yeah.
ice cream cone.
I think I can agree with what Jody's saying. However, I must say that in the conversations I've had, this is not a Harbor Springs problem. This is a Northern Michigan problem. This isn't just us. It's Charleroi got the same kind of ways. Traverse City is experiencing.
Oh, yeah.
There's just so many people up here.
Yeah.
And, ultimately, we have to look at labor shortages and everything else that's created part of this problem for everyone. So I think, food trucks would be nice, but it's just gonna have to evolve the way it's gonna evolve. There's no simple solution to it right now. There's just a lot of people that nobody's dealt with before.
Are your sales, your sales are up. I'm hearing different things from different,
Are you?
from some different retailers. Some retailers are saying we're getting a lot of foot traffic and not as much sales. And then some people are saying that their sales are up. So I think it kind of depends on which retailer. I know.
I've heard a couple of the similar.
I could have 12 people in my salon and still be turning people away. We're so busy. I've been working 15, 16, 17-hour days most of the summer. And my girls are working 40 hours. So yeah, I mean, it's been busy. There's a lot of people here for sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that have never been here before.
Which is nice.
And you have a good reputation,
Yeah.
so that's,
Yeah.
Let's proceed into Brewfest. We've got two things to get through.
All right.
All right. You wanna start with who you've
Well,
been in contact with?
so, what we've done, So the tents rented, the porta potties are rented. I have the entertainment sponsor and that's been lined up. So any of the live bands that I wanted to get, they were already booked. And I want to make sure the music's really good. So decided to go with more of a DJ type situation. And Tom Heath and I agreed to split the cost of the entertainment sponsorship. So we'll both be sponsoring that.
Thank
So I sent the letter to the Tosca Area Visitors Bureau already. They were gonna go over that in August to see about the $2,000 grant that I asked for. She said she'd let me know after their meeting. Still a substantial list to still do, but I got the brewery packets out to, you guys can see that. Got that out to, I believe, 6 of the 11 brewers and vineyards and wineries in the area. Hopefully they'll all be able to join. I know that because of staffing shortages on their end, it was a little tough that they couldn't completely, it's a busy time for everybody on the wine trails. But Northland Brewing, which is a new brewery in Indian River, Samantha Farley's dad and brother.
Oh, wait, there.
Yeah.
I was in contact with them. They're super excited and they're gonna be a part of it for sure.
Good.
Mackinac Trail and Resort Pike will definitely be a part of it. So, and I dropped off stuff to Briars and Wood Inn. They were really excited that we asked them so far out to be a part of the event. So have a couple more places to go for that.
What about burnt marshmallow?
I was out to Burnt Marshmallow and Rybeckia. They were short staffed. She said she couldn't promise anything but to touch back again in September. So I'll do some follow-ups in September and drive around. And then I have a meeting with Jake, my brother-in-law from here on Beverage. He's the one that's in charge of festivals and all of that good stuff. So we'll be getting with him and yeah, so I mean, good start for it being August. So I feel pretty good about where it's at so far.
Thanks for doing all that.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't done anything for that at all.
Well,
I
don't
mean,
worry, I
there's-
still
it's
need
coming.
volunteers, so
It's
don't
coming.
worry.
So, Nick and I worked, we've got the insurance riders is done and completed. And then I'm in the process of submitting the liquor license application, but we needed a couple of things handled at this meeting. So this is the layout that Nikki gave me that was used in the past. I don't know, maybe I can rotate. See a rotate button.
No, I don't either.
Go the view.
Okay. That do it? I'm not sure that changed anything.
Come back.
Did I just go back?
Which way do you wanna go?
Well, I was trying to fit it more on the page, but I'll just.
Go clockwise one more time.
Okay,
That
maybe I
should do
can.
it.
Maybe we can
Or go to
make it
landscape view.
push it down.
Yeah. There's the minus button next to the hand.
I'm totally missing.
Go
that.
up, a little bit, up, to right, right,
No,
left,
too far over.
left,
Okay,
right.
what am I missing?
right.
Oh, there we
you
go. Thank you.
And then you can do
Okay. And then maybe we can turn it back the other way.
it counterclock.
Sorry, I just had my birthday. I'm getting older. All right, anyways, why is it just beginning? Okay, I don't know. This is what we had to propose. This is the layout in the past. Parking lot is over here. And then this parking lot, so this is the Harbor Master. And one single entrance coming in, and then the entire area is fenced in. I spoke with Chief, and we felt that we have to keep it contained. We can't let anybody come out, even though we're allowing alcohol now in the park. They still have to stay in there.
Yeah, per the Liquor Control
Yeah.
Commission, we could only have one entrance in, one entrance out, where we were checking IDs, and it had to be snow fenced around.
So if everybody's okay with this diagram and going with this layout, this is, and if as long as.
It worked great.
Chief, you don't have any problems with it, then I'm gonna submit that to the Liquor Control Commission.
And space-wise, it works with the changes in Marina Park.
Yeah, I mean, we might have to
Push it back a little bit.
either make it a little bit wider or make it a little smaller, depending on like the landscaping around. But that just might be whether the trees are.
I have a staff meeting. So
Okay.
I got them.
How much is the tent that you're getting?
Can't tell you that yet, because I don't know yet.
I have,
Okay.
I have for the big tent.
No, I was just wondering what her new one was.
Okay.
Okay.
We're pricing that out right now. They just did the site visit on Sunday.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll let you know.
okay, thanks.
All right.
Thank you
thank
all.
you.
Thank you all.
I hope you feel better.
Oh, me too.
What, Nikki, I can't remember, what is the price on the tent? What we have?
Probably like
Sign.
2250. Taylor or BJ's?
No, Taylor's, and then I also did, I did chairs too.
Can't wait to see this new tent. That could be a cool thing for Marina Park every summer if we just did something like that for shade.
So are we okay with this
Okay.
setup here?
Okay,
I think, you know,
all right. So then we need to go on
Wait, do we need to make a resolution? Yeah.
right now. Yeah, okay, so. You need to go on.
So the board has to approve the application with the resolution.
So.
So the price I got with everything that we needed was 2809.83.
Sorry?
2809.03.
And that's no linens, right?
That is no linen, so that was the tent, the sides, cocktail tables, plastic folding chairs that were black, and set up and tear down.
Okay,
How big is the tent?
The biggest one that I could get. Whatever the size was that we, it was 40 by 80 high peak.
Yeah, I can provide all the linen. I got it.
so we need a formal resolution from the DDA authorizing the application for a special license. So I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approve the resolution to submit the liquor license application.
And I'm gonna need you to sign it, somebody to sign it, but
And then what next do you need? Is there one more resolution we have to do?
yes, we have another one. The next resolution is a certified resolution authorizing the application for a beer festival special license.
You need a motion for that?
Motion.
Support?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are in movement for the liquor license. Anything else we need to go through on Brew Fest? Probably need to start moving to a committee
Yes,
now.
so
Going down a bit.
on my list still, we need to discuss any form of sponsorship. So we are going to need a committee to start talking about the overall Brew Fest, looking at different sponsors that we could get. Obviously, we know we can't get any
Liquor license
liquor
holders.
or alcohol
Yeah, so I have the sponsorship letters that went out the last time and what we offered for everybody.
Okay,
Good idea.
So I have that and I have the list of where we sent it before. Like last time I've been the entertainment sponsor. I know Tim was on our list of sponsors in 2018. So basically any storefront, any business, any person that isn't affiliated with a liquor license would be good.
And what level of sponsorships, what kind of?
So the premier sponsor, I believe, was, I think it was 1,500 was what I had it set at, and 2018, that was Collins. And then people, whoever did that had like a table set up with inside the Brew Fest with their information and everything else, and then was included in all of our banners and the media and the radio ads. And then we'll do shout outs to the sponsors during the course of the event too, through Tom.
Did we do a web page the last time?
I just reactivated the Facebook page.
Oh, okay, great.
So,
good.
Tim shared that on the downtown Harbor Springs post when I did the save the date. So get on Facebook, share it, invite your friends. I've been posting a few things here and there on that.
Just have one comment. I just wonder if it's confusing. I saw something where it was Nikki and Justin are happy to bring back Brew Fest with the support of the DDA. I just don't know if we want to be clear that this is a DDA event, and happy to give credit for you guys spearheading it, but it was kind of confusing. It looked like you were throwing a beer fest almost, you know what I mean?
Well, they are.
I mean,
Yeah, they are.
Basically, they are.
I mean, I thought it was, that we were the head volunteers in the support of our DDA in bringing that back. I mean, I'd be happy to change the verbiage if we
I don't
need
know,
to.
it's just confusing, you know.
Okay.
I mean, all we could change is with the support of could be and the DDA.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
so do we have members who would like to kind of spearhead this Brewfest committee as we go forward into?
Is that promotions committee?
It is, but as we know, like Amy is, so the promotions committee is Nikki, Jody, Brian, Amy. I know Amy's completely out.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else would like, we have to keep it.
I mean,
no
and
more than four,
realistically,
so. And I don't know what you're like, the two of you are right now. I mean, as far as your ability to help.
Well, I'm right in the, I'm gonna be right in the middle of Harbor Stars.
Oh, well, yeah, we could do both.
I mean,
I'll do whatever.
I mean, and realistically, the stuff that we have to do and what needs to be done until we get to about mid-September. And it's gonna be really making sure that when Justin and I are down setting stakes to put up the snow fencing, that maybe we could have a couple hands and guys that can use the thing to bang the big metal fencing into the ground, and people who will be there to help if I can't get there or Justin can't get there when the porta potties go in, to make sure that they get set in the right place. I mean, I'll be honest, I can't really commit to making any extra meetings at this time, especially until September. August is crazy. And then when we need volunteers for pours, we'll definitely need some help with all the board to make sure that they're there to be there for that.
That's a great job. That's a fun job.
Yeah, exactly.
who has the wine festival volunteer list?
We have our
Oh, you have a
sponsorship, we have a sponsorship list because we did it all online the last time and
Oh,
had
yes,
people
right.
sign up through that.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fun.
So I
Good.
still have access to all of that.
So why don't we do, as we get closer into September and setting up a meeting, just let the whole DDA board know.
Yeah,
If we have to make it a public meeting, that's fine also. But the more the merrier to help.
If you can give me a list of things that you need. Cups,
lemons and napkins like before.
yep. I can-
Are we doing food at that event? Like, I know
Yeah,
we did
we
the taco
do. We are.
competition one year.
I don't think we're gonna do the taco competition again, just because the restaurants didn't seem super excited about that, the last time we did it. So what we thought we would do is go back to the way it was before we did 2018. And I'll send out, I didn't want to send it out now to the restaurants because they're all way too busy. But we do have a restaurant like vendor contract that we asked for, it was either $150 or $200 to be a part of, and then they sell the food that they bring, keeping it under, somewhere between $5 and $15. So we'll ask them to do that. So instead of people paying us for the tacos, they'll just pay the restaurants directly. So the restaurants will make some money on that as well. So our food sales, like what it was before in 2018, might be down a little bit just from the amount of money that we made off the tacos. But then this way, the restaurants would have an opportunity to make some money themselves.
And we want to get into another competition. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a ton of fun and people
It was
loved it, but the restaurants liked it the way that it was. So
Yeah,
just
they did.
with people being short-staffed and giving that, I don't want to give them a reason not to want to be a part of it.
Well, that Saturday is the Saturday that M119 is gonna
Yes.
be, that's the Saturday.
That's a great week. for us.
So if we give them, again, maybe I'm gonna throw out food truck again, give them
I
options.
did contact, the Waffle Cabin,
Mhm.
because, Juliet's, a client of mine, and, Emerson was gonna get back with me to see, because it was dessert, and I felt like the restaurants would maybe be a little bit more in support, because we don't really ever have dessert stuff there.
Mhm.
So, once I get an answer from that, I was gonna email Margot and let her know and see what she thought. Great.
Okay, let's proceed. We've got a few things under the update from our director.
So Victor, Lucas, and I met with the new president of the garden club, and it was really helpful. Apparently that was not something that has happened in years. So a couple things came up from that meeting. The first one is they asked about whether we specifically had a downtown beautification fund. And I told her we didn't, but I thought it was something that we might, as a DDA, really want to consider setting up for, not specifically for gardens, but just an ongoing fund from our money, our monies to,
Yep.
so that we have a kind of a, just a focus for that. And I think that, and ultimately, I think they would like to use some of that money, for their downtown gardens, but in general, I think it's better that, I think it would be a good idea for us to have one. And so that's something to consider and how we want to go forward with that. The other thing that really came up from that was they didn't really have an idea of what was happening in Marina Park. They didn't realize that there was landscaping going in. And so we had a long conversation about working cooperatively, whether they are limited with their volunteers, they can't be planting, but they were willing to offer their resources and their expertise as far as what plants would be successful if we want to keep planting on Main Street or the Marina Park, because some of them, weren't so successful. They weren't surviving very well. And also just trying to put together a more cohesive look for the entire Bay Street moving along there. So they were willing to work with us and do that. So as we go forward, I think we'll be dealing a lot more with the president, Nancy Zucker. I was like, I can't remember what her last name is. Yes.
Just in fairness, we did have a meeting with Jenny Heinrichsey, who is the immediate past president, about what plants to go in, and they did know about it. Maybe she just didn't know about it.
Okay, I know I know Ginny was having some health problems, so I know that maybe it didn't all get related.
Communicated,
Yeah.
Doesn't the city give the garden club a little X amount of money a
We
year?
do, so traditionally, we've always given them $1,000, I think, a year, but after a discussion, they made it clear that it costs several more $1,000s to just the flowers itself, but we had no idea, until I didn't know how much they paid for flowers, they just asked for $1,000. So that's something we have to think about.
But it was good, I think that, and Victor encouraged them to go before council because, for them to be, I don't know whether they had some bad feelings about what they were getting or not. It just, in order to make it work for them, they need to bring themselves before council.
Thank you for doing that, both of you.
Yeah. Marina Park, just an update on the committee. Obviously, as you said, park is happening. It's the place to be. And We have new tables, new benches down there. Rachel, did you wanna, I know you were mentioned at the committee, looking ahead and any ideas that get people's mind to start, whether they want to start thinking about future thoughts for, and I know that, I'm sure the DDA may have, so I don't know if you
Future
want.
planning for the park.
Yeah, any thoughts that you wanted to get people to think about or?
Well, I know our next Marina Park meeting that's on the schedule to discuss are like maybe possible long-term plans for the park and then any fall or winter events at the park. We really like to do an outside winter event or a couple there and try and utilize the park space all year round and get people outside. So that is something that'll be at the next meeting, so I should have like more of an update.
I know we really liked the fires, the little bonfires over Ice Fest. We'd love to be able to do something like that more, on a consistent basis, but it took a lot of work. I mean, your girls were out there all day.
But people came, that was a great thing.
And they made money. You give them an opportunity to make money, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And Natalie I think she kept control of the fires all night long.
Are you planning to have your outdoor bar do you have any idea how long you're planning to keep it going?
Marina Park Bar.
The Marina
long
Park
as-
bar.
yes. As long as the sun is shining and, I mean, we always look at the second weekend of October. And we always hope to keep the boat running through the second week of October too.
And that second week of October is usually when October 1st being the last day for the boaters, the seasonal, that's when last day, so that's usually when things die down anyway.
Yeah.
Most boats are out by October 1st, but the deadline's October 15th.
So
Any
we
update?
would, oh, I'm sorry, so that would be the Brew Fest,
Yeah, then
which would be great, and if we have the weather, I can't remember last year's. Were we shut down last year?
we weren't shut down, but we were open last year. We were still fully open. We were fully open. Nothing rolled back until November.
What was the year? It was like 80 degrees.
Oh.
Was that,
That was the year that we did not do Brew Fest
Oh,
because
2019.
Matthew
that was
was
19?
Matthew was a freshman in college and Justin and I couldn't do it. Nobody wanted to go forward with it.
2019.
Yeah, so the last time we did Brew
Yeah,
Fest
so
was
there's-
2018.
There is that remote possibility we can have that weekend that it just, I have a party on the 7th that wants to be outside. And, I can't promise them anything. I have small little heaters, but it's not gonna do that much.
Okay,
I have one thing that keeps kind of clicking in my head when I think about Marina Park. I think about, 11 years ago when we all went to, Rachel, Mary Catherine, Kathy Breitner, Mary Ellen,
it was, learning about making spaces
Placemaking.
happy.
it was a placemaking conference. And one of Ken, what's his name? Fred Kent. One of Fred Kent's things is always quicker, lighter, cheaper. And one of the things that I think that we missed an opportunity a little bit that I don't think would be very expensive would be to get 20 or 25 Adirondack chairs and put them in the Marina Park.
We'll talk about it at the meeting.
Yeah, good
What do
idea.
you guys think?
We've got some mowing issues around those.
We have new benches that are kind of facing out now, those just arrived.
We really do want to thank the Marina Park Committee and I really appreciate the fact that this was a joint effort between a number of different city commissions and locals, and it worked quite well. The speed at which that group got things done is unheard of in city politics. So I was thrilled. It was just great. That's a good example of how to go forward in other projects. So thank you.
There's people down there all the time.
All the time.
They were playing cornhole last night at 10 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
I will have to give a shout out, thank you to Nick Whitaker for those carnival boards.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of
Yes.
time on doing what he did.
I've heard people ask for to buy those boards. Is he in a little Etsy business yet? If not, he should do so.
Well, at his pace.
Oh.
I don't know if he'd make any money off of that. It's more than art for him.
Yeah, the Frisbee though has disappeared and there's someone very unhappy in my house about that.
Let's move into new downtown businesses.
And so the only update I have on that is Harbor Yoga is kind of leaving. JMK Fitness is taking its place. Lori is moving. She is moving to Cleveland. And, but Ally has taken over, is taking her, JMK Fitness is really taking the business, the spot, but Ally will be continuing to do some Harbor Yoga. But so that's the only business change we've really had this summer. The new Whiskey Lounge is doing really well. I think he's very happy.
Good.
New sandwich shop is doing great.
Yep.
Harbor ice
Yeah,
cream.
Harbor Ice Cream Sandwich Shop is doing
Yeah.
super. It looks great in there. Even the t-shirt shop is doing
They're
well.
happy.
He's doing well, so yeah, that is great. Other than that, I only put on the September DDA meeting date because I thought I wasn't going to be able to be here for that. I think I am now, but it is also heading into that Labor Day weekend, so I didn't know if we wanted to consider pushing it to the next week.
Whatever.
I think.
Well, at this time in the morning.
This time in the
it's
morning, I
fine.
think we're fine.
We could always push it back to 6:30 in the morning.
I'm sure you would love that.
No, just a reminder, it's back to 8:30 at September.
God.
All right.
Or whatever.
That's
Yeah,
on
stuff to
Thursday.
that will be, we're back to 8:30 for the rest of the year, thankfully.
Okay, we are concluding our August session back into the fall break soon. Seems like we just started summer and now we're moving away. So thank you all for coming and we will see you in September.
The one
I
other
think there's a
thing we
song
need-
about that.
One other thing we need to talk about is on Third Street, the lights there's 2 branches that are up. So how do you want to proceed to get them fixed?
I think we figured that out and that joint meeting, I mean, I can call and get them fixed,
I think
but
we
I
did
think
figure that out.
we figured out, I think we figured out the.
We'll work on that too.
Okay. I just noticed it last night after I went to the whiskey bar.
Oh.
Oh, and that's funny, because Caitlin had sent me a message asking me if there were any out, and I said, I didn't know, but
He contacted us, that's why.
Good.
And then, so last night I walked the street, I didn't notice there were 2 branches that are out.
All right, we'll be looking for volunteers for the water wagon.
Just let me know, I'll do it.
Oh, good.
on your lunch break.
I'll do my part.
It's actually kind of fun.